So everything was done in reverse, and so as the sun's coming up,
so cool.
So when you play it out, it looks like you're going to this location as the sun's coming down.
For sure,
actually we filmed it in reverse. So
that is cool.
Yeah, it was
awesome.
It was pretty fun, and those puzzle pieces kind of got put together in the way that you just kind of get to be creative, and nobody knows. If you would have watched it, nobody would even been able to tell the difference.
Absolutely, man.
A few keen eyes would be like, "Oh, that was filmed at a different part of the day."
Yeah.
You you'd have to be looking out for it and not be caught up in the story. That's the beauty of filmmaking, though. You can point out the mistakes, but most people don't care. You really just want to get the cadence of the story right. It's like, well, the sun's a little bit on this different side. Let's mirror it.
Nobody's going to pick up on it.
Yeah, let's mirror it. Nobody's going to be able to tell. And then there are a few keen eyes like, oh, that one's mirrored, or oh, that one's different lighting. Oh, that one's a different setup. He was actually on that side, or his hair flipped over that side.
Yeah.
I love picking up on those details because of who I am, and I've always done that as a kid.
For sure.
Why is that different?
Yeah, why is he there than there? It is fun, though, dude, because, I'm... I cut videos and I put them on, TikTok, YouTube, whatever.
Yeah.
Facebook, all that. But it is wild because I have made us say things completely different.
Oh, absolutely.
Than we actually said it.
That's why it's so important to get context of everything, because you really can't. I mean,
you got to have the original.
You got to have the original uncut version to actually know what's actually being said. Because
I do it.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to. I want to do it for entertainment, but I take, Grant and I have had conversations where I go, I have taken this sentence and moved it to 35 seconds earlier. And then dude, it makes the video better. But it's not honest.
No. I mean, it's
entertainment.
It's entertainment. You're setting up a question. It still gives context to what the heart of what you're trying to say.
For sure,
so unless you're trying to completely inverse what you're trying to say, then of course you're being dishonest in that.
Right,
but,
yeah.
I think it's not honest. I think it's not dishonesty. I think it's actually giving context.
Yes. Yeah, so
you're doing it, but I mean, we're not talking about CNN or Fox here. I mean, they cut things up all the time, rearrange and cut off, and it's that's their game.
They live on dishonesty,
exactly,
for sure. But but with that, it's I do rearrange things to go, no, this was the context, and we didn't do a great job in that situation.
Yeah.
Of presenting it. So here, let me swap this, and then you'll get it.
Yeah, exactly. It's and then sometimes you even hey, we didn't have a great lead up for that. Let's just have a quick statement, and then we'll just put it before.
For sure.
So that's what you literally the beauty of filmmaking and camera and video cutting is that you get to
perfection.
You get to create your own reality. And
yeah.
So,
dude, and I have fallen in love with it. It has been over the last 2 years. Has been something that I have.
Welcome to my world,
dude.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
and I understand.
Yeah, I see you now.
I see you. I see you, dude. I know you now.
Well, through that, essentially, that was what the job that got me got my foot in the door with another filmmaker who had built out a rally Porsche. He had built out this red rally Porsche. I've used it several times on my social media because it basically he was another filmmaker buddy who came out and said, "Hey, I just built this cool rally Porsche over 2020. You want to come film it?" I'm like, "Heck yeah!" So we went out into the woods.
Did he make his money from video production?
Yeah, so
to build this thing, because I'm guessing that that took some money.
Yeah. It definitely took some money. He bought the car for $1,000 though, because it was an old 944 Porsche, and then 944s were the black sheep kind of the Porsche community because they were water cooled engines they were front hood water cooled engines, right? And usually they Porsches were either mid-engine or
I drove it for I don't know a couple weeks or something.
That's great.
You want to take care of it for I go on vacation? I was like, yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah. That'll teach you real quick. Yeah, so essentially I was not really interested in cars, but I was interested in cool stories. I always say that I'm not passionate about one thing. I'm passionate about passionate people. And that's like
Absolutely,
my
yeah.
moniker is like, I love to be able to film and capture people's passions because I see it in their eyes. You know, I can see
Yeah.
there's something that turns on. I'm like,
Absolutely,
I
yeah.
like that. And it's different contexts. So like it may be about cars, maybe about music, it may be about.
You love giraffes.
Yeah,
I'm into you loving giraffes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love what you love.
For sure.
And so I love that you love that kind of deal. And so I got to then that was my entry point into the automotive sphere. And so then he's like, dude, there's this creator, this Porsche guy that has put a rooftop tent on top of his 911 Porsche, his 996, another black sheep of the 911s. But his 996 Porsche, and that's like also an insane thing to do.
Right.
But it was noteworthy. And when he flips out, it looks freaking badass. If you flips back in, it looks like a giant black box on top of a Porsche. You're like, what the crap is this?
Right.
But then through that, we shot like a duo piece, and we called it Where To Next. And what they liked about me filming content with both of those creators, they're kind of influencers now. Both of those guys liked the fact that I did not shoot cars as a car guy,
right?
Because I was more so focused on them. Because I wanted to know what they were doing, and then I got an opportunity to bring the personalities out, and then film cars in as well, and then bring context to it.
Because most people don't give a shit about the car.
Well,
the car is cool.
I will say, general audience may not care about your cars. The car guys will care a ton about the cars.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So there's a whole community of people that are just like all about the cars, and all just
I guess coming from me.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the only perspective I know.
Yeah, exactly. It's
what you said is
it's a car. Yeah,
dude, are you cool? Are you funny? Do you have a wife and family?
Yeah, I do.
You got this awesome car. You got this awesome car. That's me.
Yeah.
Let me know about you.
Yeah.
Oh, and then the car's sweet.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
That's the.
It's the people will always the car takes a back seat to the people,
right?
And that's always going to be the way it goes for me.
So, from your experience, because you've had experience with very successful people that have done videos of different natures, and I actually. I feel like we have a lot to talk about, still, and we might just have to jump together in the future, talk again. But
do the phase 2,
absolutely, yeah. But do you think that that video, right?
Yeah,
that was about cars.
Yeah, it was about people enjoying their cars.
Do you think that there are more people that are people watching the video, or more car people that are watching the video?
In my stuff, I've actually done that. I've wondered, okay, well, who's here because they want to be here for the content I produce? Who's here because they like the cool cars? Who's here because they like the cool filmmaking? And I kind of did who's just here because they like me, kind of as far as just me as a person and want to see what I'm doing, kind of deal. So it actually ended up being about split 50-50, people who love cars and people who love just filmmaking. So it's kind of cool because it's great. There's an interesting blend here, and there's an interesting blend of people that love cars, and then there's just an interesting blend of people that love filmmaking. So I'm like, okay, I love filmmaking, and I love how to capture cars and everything. But it's through the car content that really put my name on the name on the map. Is that what you say?
On the market.
Yeah, put my name out there essentially as being a car filmmaker.
Got you out there, yeah.
And it got me out there and got me an opportunity to work with Porsche, and I got me an opportunity to work with all these brands. And now I'm, that's what has then springboarded me into going to France to film the Le Mans Classic, or going to Germany and Austria and Italy and being able to film these Porsche rallies is because the way I captured cars, and because it was cars, but it was also people. It was a lot of people, mainly people that was my focus. Then brought these cinematic visuals to bringing intimacy to, again, people stories.
There's nothing intimate
stage.
About a car. But the guy in it,
they give life.
I could love the guy in it.
Yeah, exactly. And there's people that really, and I've grown to love cars because of it. And I've grown a huge, not a passion, but a respect and appreciation for the craftsmanship that goes behind all these, and then again, the people that go nerd out on it. I'm like,
For
you're
sure.
so crazy awesome. I love that you love so much and you know so much about this. I just want to pop their head open, like, tell me how you got into this. Tell me why you are so fascinated by cars. And then hearing all the stories of these people who love their cars and love the way that it drives and the feel that they get, you know.
Sure.
One of those movies that comes to mind is like Ford v Ferrari, which was like a great way of like entertaining the car enthusiast as well as entertaining a main audience. You would be able.
Perfect.
It was a good like riding both lanes kind of deal.
For sure, yeah.
So that's how I kind of got into that space as far as like now I'm in the car space essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that's wild. That's so cool. But I also feel like God has a way of bringing you, like, it doesn't matter where the circle goes, it'll come back.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, it, like, I've known your dad, you, your brother, your whole family for forever, and you know, you guys have always been a little bit interested in motors, right? At least like, you know, your father and your brother.
Oh yeah.
Certainly.
They've definitely. I think I wish I would have appreciated it more in my youth.
Okay,
than
but
in my older years.
What I mean is, like, dude, now you're there. Look at the giant loop.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I
Now-
mean?
Now I'm coming back into a space where I get to appreciate what my dad kind of taught in me early on. Like motorcycles was actually where we would go riding motorcycles out in the woods. You know, so we were always into, you know, either if it wasn't cars, it was motorcycles
For sure.
deal. And so that was like our thing to do together. And so
Isn't this loop a beautiful thing, though?
oh, absolutely,
Isn't it cool? Like,
yeah. You get to appreciate something that, you know, that has more value to you now than you thought it did back then. And so it's like those memories are deepened by your appreciation, and then you get to visit from a new context.
absolutely, man. And it's wild. Like, you know, you go one direction, which seems like different from the people around you, and then all of a sudden, you know, next thing you know, 10 years later, you're like, hey, I know that, like, you want, you know, you kind of felt this way, I felt this way, and they went,
Yeah. Well, I mean, like in a
cool
way,
is that?
you kind of have to go your own journey. You got to go your own way. You can't just always pick up the threads of what you started off with and like what maybe
For sure,
your
yeah.
family like, hey, we really like this. You should stick with this. It's like no, you kind of have to find your own path through it, and then to appreciate, even if it doesn't come back full circle.
for sure.
There is this idea that there's this concept of just being able to appreciate the journey that you're on, because if it wasn't the way it was, you'd never be the person who you are. You know, you always have regrets in life. You always have steps to like, oh man, I wish I would have done this more. It's like, well, it may have not led me to where I'm at now. And so if I would have been into more cars back then, it may have actually put me on a path of being one more of everybody else.
For sure. You
So
might be changing tires.
Yeah, either that or just like,
Yeah.
you know, even if I was in the car filmmaking space, it may have not had the angle that I have at it now. And I think that that's what has set me apart from, say, another car filmmaker that, you know, has always been around cars and grew around cars. It's like they know this inside and out, but they're going to be able to talk only to car enthusiasts.
Dude,
So
that is fascinating. That is awesome. Dude, we have so much left to talk about.
all right, what else you want to ask?
Yes, what are we at? Hour 30. All right. Let's dude, I want to know, so from dude, honestly, I want to know the last, like, so after you guys moved to Washington.
Yeah.
And this is where I don't know much.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys move there, and
Yeah.
like, you know, you start your family, the family's there.
Yeah.
You go to work and you start to create your business and things like that. Like, dude, let's go from that point to where we're at now. All right, because you're making a move, and it's got to be scary.
Oh yeah. Always.
But you put all this work into Washington.
Yeah. About 9
Right.
years.
Yeah. So I want to know about it.
So yeah, I mean, like Washington, loved Washington. I think that there's some amazing things, amazing lessons that I learned up there, and it kind of helped form and inform a lot of my decisions and where I wanted what kind of content I wanted to pursue as a storyteller and a filmmaker. Had it not been for those opportunities, I would have not been able to then be able to work with Portia, because if I stayed where I was in Springfield, I wouldn't have met the people that have brought me into those spaces, those respective spaces. I was building a studio space. I was building, I had built I rented it and built a studio. And then I furthermore, branched off of that and had an editing studio, and then just a big space that was just for like just shooting and just equipment and all that jazz. It was exciting. I was like, oh man, I'm building into something really big. But as Washington kind of grew, so some of my people started moving off and started having different tangents. Like my main DP that I would normally call on, he moved down to Seattle. It was about an hour and a half away. Not a big deal, but I just noticed other people starting to split off and having different, priorities. And I also realized that like Washington, I was never home. I was always on the road. I was always having, I think for 2 to 3 years in a row, most of the summers I was gone for like 6 weeks at a time.
Ooh, man.
I mean, like I would pop in 10 days and back in for like 3, back out for like 4 days, back in for another 2, then back out for 7 days, So I was really